Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for some more Wolfenstein X. Wolfenstein New Order, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. It's Wolfenstein something, there's a lot of Wolfensteins. With the fans making the best Wolfenstein content imaginable. And, well, I actually suffered, 2 7.92 by 57. That was a tough German Shepherd. Oh, you bastard. Oh, it's already off to a bad start, because, they're just being a bit aggressive. That's why it's always good to have a Thompson submachine gun. Oh, and Turok Fire Seed, I shall not let you, get me killed this time. Just talking about you got me killed. How could you? I also love how it uses the, falling sound effect from Return to Castle as the, death sounds. It's actually a pretty difficult, map start. And the sound and the music for this particular level is, of course, the classic Hell March. The thing is, though, I never actually played Red Alert, Command & Conquer Red Alert. I knew of its existence, but I never played it back in the day. The only Command & Conquer game I've played is Generals, and I haven't played that in about a decade. It was fun, like really, really fun. This is actually a pretty nice map, though. Although the planes do leave a little to be desired, but then again, this is the Doom engine after all, so I'm not expecting too much. Because, yeah. Also, we've got some new... Oh, crap. I'm being completely slaughtered. You never want to have to reload. That's gonna make your time go down, that's for sure. And hello, Hoodie Man 27. And hello, Ross Dude, Emperor Snake, Turok Fire Seed, and hello, Silver Wings. And very nice Silver Wings. I did not know Command & Conquer was on the N64. There's a lot of remarkable games for that system. I mean, really. Command & Conquer, StarCraft. I knew StarCraft was on there. Not that I was ever really into StarCraft to the point where I really cared that much that it was on there. God damn it. Alright, so it's definitely gonna be a tough slug. Nothing a little STG-44 can't fix. Oh, come on, get it? Yeah, it's sad the STG-44 never got made. And now with, you know, the Corona and all the rest, I don't think it's ever going to be made. And there's some issues with some contractors and things of that nature. So no SMG Gunworks STG-44. One of the things I've seen on that particular rifle is many people are saying that it would have been a much better idea just to have it be in 8 Kurtz and not like 8 different calibers. And, you know, that probably would be a good idea. But, alas, I think it's probably too late for that to actually be resurrected. I would have probably bought one if it had been suitably tested, because I think that gun was like $2 grand, which is still not bad for what it is. One of the reasons why the black powder revolvers are still so cheap is because not only are they manufacturing them for decades, black powder is a much lower pressure propellant, so it's not quite as hard to manufacture as, say, a semi-automatic rifle. Semi-auto rifles, we're pretty spoiled in the modern era, because getting a semi-auto rifle to work is not an easy thing to do. And I can definitely see why this is a map for co-op, because holy shit, is it difficult. Let's see, you know, hello, Wise Dragon 33. Conversion of Doom, Group, Eternal, Dragon Ball Z. 1300 isn't bad for an STG. Glad you could show up, Daniel. Oh, dearie me, it is a Sunday. I'll tell you, when it comes to difficulties in life, it just seems like they never end. But one shall survive. But yeah, 1300 for a new manufacturer semi-auto rifle is quite remarkable, just because getting a semi-auto rifle to work, not easy. We take a lot of that for granted in the modern era, because it's like you can get, you know, an AR-15, or you could, in you know, panic buy time, you could get a AR for like $400. Well, now that's not a common thing. Getting something like an AR to work reliably and effectively is something that takes a lot of trial and a lot of error. Wow, I just got smacked in the face by that bastard. Oh, as of late, I have read the latest Alien comic. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but I did, and you know what? It wasn't horrible. It was actually remarkably good. Alien is now being produced by Marvel, because I guess Dark Horse Comics is dead or something? The comic is... It's really quite remarkable, knowing what I know about woke storytelling. It's not woke. It's actually got... I don't think the Xenomorph even shows up in the first comic. It's all just setting the stage for things. It takes place, I think, like 50 years after Aliens. And it features some communists trying to take down the company. But the communists are shown as pure evil, because they end up blasting a security guard right in the face. It's a bit more violent than I would normally like to see. I mean, Aliens have always... The Aliens franchise has always been violent, but still, seeing somebody's face blasted off with a Spaz 12, not the most enjoyable. Also, they're using a Spaz 12 in the future, but hey, I'm not going to knock that, because the Spaz 12 is pretty awesome. I would love to have a Spaz 12, but not enough to pay for it, because getting an original, not cheap at all, especially when there's better options out there for semi-autos. But I'm just surprised Alien hasn't gone woke. I am very surprised about that, because, you know, considering that every franchise on the face of the earth is woke at this point, we're lucky it's not. Have I ever broken anything due to gamer rage? Yeah. It's kind of sad, really, but very fitting. So, there's an absolutely primordial game, that makes me feel old to say, called Star Trek Legacy. It was released on the Xbox 360 and PC, and I got it for the goddammit. Yeah, that's a good name for the 360, the 3 goddammit, because when the fucking thing red rings, you're fucked. But, red ring aside, I had it for the 360, and there's a level in that particular game where you have to stop these asteroids from hitting a variety of planets. And so, it is really... You fuck up once, you might as well just restart the game, because holy crap, it's at an annoying level. And I literally got so pissed off at having lost it, I don't know how many times, I finally picked up the game box and chucked it across the room. I've told the story before, but it's still funny to talk about. Chucked it across the room, and it just so happened to hit the stand holding up the Enterprise A, thus destroying the stand, but not the Enterprise A, because the Enterprise A fell on my bed, but still. Of all the things to break with gamer rage, it was fitting, because the Enterprise A got destroyed by Star Trek Legacy. And what's kind of funny is the Enterprise A's destruction changes from book to book or comic to comic. Sometimes it just gets mothballed, sometimes it's sold as surplus, other times Captain Kirk gets it back and then crashes it into something. It's just one of those things that when you try to do something 30 years after the fact, it just doesn't really work. But we'll see if Marvel's Aliens actually is able to maintain its quality. I don't know. I mean, it's off to a good start. It's showing communists is bad, so... And it shows the corporate people is good. I'm very surprised about that. Now, of course, corporate people aren't necessarily good, but you get the idea. It's not like shoving politics right in your face, which I'm just so surprised at. Oh, they lost the license. Damn, I did not know that. And yeah, the AR-15 was worth more than the Mosin. Spaz 12, but had to hand it in with a... Oh, that sucks. That is why gun confiscation is real. Or why you don't want to have a gun registration. I find it funny, a lot of gun tubers started speaking out against that when it became likely that such a thing would happen. What it looks like now is there's going to be some sort of executive order banning the importation of AKs again. But now that Palmetto State Armory is a thing, it doesn't really matter anymore because you can get good AKs from them. That GF3, pretty damn good rifle. Well, by pretty damn good, I mean really. God damn it! This is where it's gonna get rough, isn't it? I said the red ring problem. Never had one. That is lucky. There's a mission, Star Trek Encounters, and race the Kazon to the DNA thing. You know, I had Star Trek Encounters, but I'm not gonna lie, I never finished it. Star Trek Encounters, for those who don't know, is a it was one of those weird Star Trek games that had like no budget. It basically was like a top-down shooter of some description, and each mission intro was voiced by the Shat. But I just didn't really get into it all that much. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just was kind of generic. I should play it at some point for a stream, along with Star Trek Legacy. See, I was actually pretty spoiled by the Starfleet Command games, so I wanted more of that, and Star Trek Encounters wasn't that. And Star Trek Legacy was kind of that, but still not that great. That is a lot of krauts. You mess up once or twice, no matter what you do. Damn. Somebody makes a repair. Walks in. Exactly what package? Damn. Ending in Final Fantasy X. Checking the disc and just smashed it. And yeah, pretty much every firearm is kind of like, there's sort of a backdoor registration, but it would still not be particularly easy for the ATF to track your purchases. Thankfully. And if all you have is black powder, you don't even have to register those if you live in a freedom state. Like, you can literally get black powder sent straight to your door. God damn it. Which is actually a very good thing. Shit! Take that, you got a social— wait, never mind. That's just— you bastard. I like how his little buddy there's just spazzing out up there. Well, I'll cure what ails him. I'm not gonna halt. I'm gonna have to probably cheat in some health. This is like the hardcore version. You get hit once, dead. And also my shooting ability is about as good as Otaku? It's Kotaku. Ugh. Wasser tin to triple in value. You know, I considered getting a Wasser tin, but I just heard so many bad things about them. I just went ahead and got a GF3 and I haven't looked back. Oh, come on, you bastard! He fucking chucked the grenade back? Okay, I don't think a shotgun has to be registered. Not bad. Lead Force 1 and 2, Shattered Universe. Anything semi-auto or fully automatic? I'm not surprised, because, well, what's funny is I actually have, this shows how old I am, a videotape, an actual VHS tape talking about that Australia gun ban. Pretty scary stuff. Back when the NRA actually had testicles before they were sold for giant mansions. Wayne LaPierre. That's why I recommend joining the GOA or your local pro-gun groups. I'm gonna cheat in health. I'm blaming Turok Fireseed. It's his fault. Blame him. Just blame him. Let's see. Feelings of TOS the last couple days. It's good. Funny you should mention that, Ross, dude. I recently discovered some Sci-Fi Channel interviews back when the Sci-Fi Channel actually had sci-fi. I mean, I know it's a strange concept that the Sci-Fi Channel would actually have science fiction on it instead of pro wrestling. I remember when ECW came to the Sci-Fi Channel, I thought it was going to be some sort of sci-fi wrestling thing. Not just fucking wrestling. I get that wrestling's fake, but I mean, come on, it's not sci-fi. One of them needs to be a fucking robot. I need to see somebody's arm wrapped in foil before I'm willing to watch wrestling on a Sci-Fi Channel. But anyway, there were interviews of the original cast and the writers and everything when they started re-airing TOS. TOS holds up better than you think. If all you've heard about TOS is that it's really cheesy, it is cheesy, but it's actually very entertaining. The Cage, which was like a landmark in science fiction, it's still Hold on a second. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I thought everything was about me. I thought I heard my name being called. Duh. Still dealing with the unfortunate aftermath of my stepfather's passing, so I'm trying to pay attention to everyone, because damn, it has not been that fun. Quite rough indeed. But yeah, TOS. Back to that. The Cage. 1965, I want to say, is when that came out. It holds up so much better than you could ever imagine. For, like, the first of its kind. It feels like an outgrowth of the film Forbidden Planet, but it's remarkably serious for what it is. When you compare other shows from 1965, The Cage just holds up so well. I mean, even the effects. And I remember, it was the late 90s when The Cage actually got remastered in color. I mean, these days, of course, you can get it Blu-ray with, you know, like, super special effects. But seeing that in color was a pretty big deal. I actually had a chance to get it on VHS, but I turned it down. It was actually my mother who offered to buy it for me. I turned it down because it didn't have Captain Picard in it. Yes, major heresy, I know, but, well, I was like 10, so I'm willing to cut my younger self a little slack. And yeah, the NRA has definitely lost its testicles. Open carry. Imagine carrying a single-action revolver. Well, I mean, it works. I've seen that, where RoboCop evidently was in, like, some sort of wrestling thing, along with Orange Man as well. I wonder when they're going to cancel wrestling because Orange Man did anything with it. Let's see, what else we got here? And yeah, Balance of Terror is still pretty good, even though they do get the photon torpedoes. Well, their version of the photon torpedo would not last. I'm not going to say it's wrong, because it was one of the first depictions of it, but it was a remarkably depressing episode, though, where you had, like, a young couple who worked on the Enterprise get married at the beginning of the episode and then get killed during the battle. I mean, that was hardcore for 1960. That's still hardcore even today. Like, Gene Roddenberry, he knew what he was doing. Although his other, the other people who worked on the show did just as much as he did. People forget about that. They always talk about Gene's vision. Well, Gene did have a vision. It was all the other people working on that show that also imparted their own stamp onto that show, and it wouldn't have been as good without them. People kind of forget that, because like, oh yes, they're ruining Gene's vision. Well, it wasn't just his work. Just like how Star Wars wasn't just George Lucas. I mean, when you think about it, you know, Han Solo with George's vision wouldn't have been nearly as good as what Harrison brought to the table with his I know line. If he had just said, I love you too, that would have been like, oh, that's sweet. But instead, I know, it's like, it's Han Solo. And so, when you've got Star Trek, it's not just Gene, it's everyone else too. I mean, think about Leonard Nimoy, the Vulcan salute, all that stuff. You know, that wasn't just Gene doing it. And all the little people that wrote the... Ah, shit! It's the ghost of Gene Roddenberry! He doesn't like me talking bad about him. And I will bring this up as well. Gene Roddenberry also hated Star Trek VI, which was a remarkably good Star Trek film. You know, the whole Cold War allegory in space, that's perfect Star Trek, and yet he still hated it for some reason. Although, you know, now that I think of it, I can see why he might have hated it, depending on the reasons why he actually personally disliked it. Because, like, making Uhura not understand Klingon was kind of a dick move, but it was funny. Some of the literal xenophobia, yeah. But then again, when Klingons were, like, killing people, it would make sense for them to not like them. So, I don't see that as being that big of a deal. I mean, seriously, Ave Imperator. And yeah, there really isn't much that takes place on a bridge in Star Wars, but Star Wars has always been much softer anyway. The Mirror Universe uses the model. I do remember that vaguely. I don't prefer TOS over TNG. When it comes to Star Trek, my preference is still Deep Space Nine above everything else. With TNG and then TOS. Actually, no, I take that back. It's Deep Space Nine, followed by Enterprise, followed by TNG, followed by TOS, and then the very last is Voyager. And the modern day Star Treks I don't even consider even remotely canon or worth watching anyway. And believe me, I've watched season 1 of that horrific show, Star Trek Discovery, ST-fucking-D. I watched it. It was awful. It is one of the worst. Really, the reason why nobody watches the modern day Star Treks is because they're terrible. All you have to do is watch one episode, and then you know. And then you know why no one wants to watch it. It's not because it's nerdy or sci-fi. It's literally because it is a terrible TV show. How about Shatner Path? Oh, you know it. Well, that's the thing. When Shatner does pass, that will be a very interesting thing. Either he will be honored by current Star Trek, or he'll be canceled, and everyone will be celebrating his demise. They did that with Stanley Martin Lieber, so I get the feeling they'll probably do that with Shat at this point. It's kind of scary when you think about it, but then again, that's what they're taught at their colleges, and I can't find the key. I actually beat this level just today on my own time, and I can't find it. I'm sure it's Turok Fireseed's fault. I'm sure it's his fault. How could you, Turok Fireseed? How could you? It's got to be somewhere in here. I would have thought I would have picked it up. About 2 seconds from just cheating in the key and being a bastard like that. Star Trek 2009, when it came out, was not that awful. Especially moving on from that horrific show that was Star Trek Nemesis. But what Star Trek 2009 did to Star Trek, that nobody would have known it. Nobody knew it at the time, though. Nobody had a clue what was going to happen to Star Trek back then, but it was sort of like the beginning of the end for an entire franchise. Let me look in here. Maybe it's not. Maybe it wasn't here. From the Mirror Universe. You know, you wonder though, would there be video games in the Mirror Universe? I don't think there would be. I don't think there could be. Because if everybody in the Mirror Universe is evil, that would mean that you'd have to be working to not die your entire life, so there would be no downtime to play video games, which means there'd be no video game developers. See, that's the thing. When you think about video games, it requires a very specific set of circumstances to be able to exist. And without those specific circumstances, you wouldn't have the freedom to play them, much less develop them. So, there's the door. I must have walked past it like an idiot. Not as dumb as these bastards. But yeah, I don't think there's very specific sets of circumstances needed for there to be the amount of leisure time necessary to play something like this, or to develop something like this. And I can't imagine anybody in the Mirror Universe would even have the creativity to do so. See, that's the thing. Let's say the Natsox won the war. There would be no video games because no one would have the freedom to play them. I mean, you could easily have some sort, well, like now, there's talks about, you know, censorship just in online chats. So, can you imagine a paranoid society like the Natsox? I mean, you could spread dissent in a video game. Dissent. 6 axes of freedom, and you don't even want 1 axis. But, yeah, I mean, without a high level of freedom, you wouldn't even have the ability to play a game. I mean, or it could be, or maybe you might if it was like mandatory, like you had to play certain hours of so many hours of a certain game as part of like some sort of military training. You might be able to do, but even then, it's very iffy. Because in totalitarian dictatorships, you're always working on something to not starve to death. Let's see. It's a bad movie. And yeah, I can agree with that. I don't like Star Trek 2009 anymore either because of what it led to, which is a dull, vacuous universe that has absolutely no rules to it, that just, if you need to do something, you can magically do it. actually defended Star Trek 2009 when it came out. You know, talking about like, I know people hated it, but I loved it. Yeah. It's everything about Star Trek is now basically just, it's dull and vacuous. And let's face it, it's one of those franchises that the original Star Trek was all about characters and plot. Now it's just space battles. What's rather ironic is Wrath of Khan, people were complaining like, oh, it was all space battles. There is about maybe a minute and a half of space battles in Wrath of Khan. The rest, all character. All character. In fact, there's less special effects in Wrath of Khan than there is in Star Trek 1, which everyone likes to be, is all like, oh, it's so intellectual. It is literally people watching a screen. That's all that chat show is. If you've never seen the slow motion picture, don't. Just don't. It's terrible. It's painful. It's basically 2001, except it had slightly more character. With that in mind, though, I did find a modern-day trailer that was remarkably good and made the film not look like crap. Too bad it is. Let's grab all those sweet, sweet goodies. Give me all that 30-06. I like to find that many 30-06s in real life. But, oh shit. You busted and your fucking grenades. The Aloha snack bar at that one. Give me all that sweet, sweet gold. Let's see. And yeah, Kirk is not enlisting, but then again, do you really expect these people to understand the finer points of anything? Let's see. Propaganda tools. Wolf TNC would distribute. I guess you're right. There was a video game of that, and it was propaganda based. Until first contact. Yeah, but I don't know how people would go immediately Imperium of Man just on finding the Vulcans. Hard to say, really. But it does make me wonder, was Zephram Cochrane a fan of Warhammer 40k? And that's why he was just like, Ave Imperator! Ave Imperator. Let's see. If 2009, also a charm. Arguments I've had say. And yeah, it isn't the TOS. The way I kind of rectify 2009, Star Trek 2009, is it is basically fiction. That it is 24th century fiction. It's like some sort of because when you think about it, it seems a lot like a holodeck video game. I mean, it's all about action and... What did I do? Oh, he's got a grenade. Ooh, there's a guy with a... Ah, there's a fucking tank. It's all action and dull and... I won't say dull and vacuous. It's all action and, like, Kirk and Spock are, like, the only characters that have any real meaning. And really, it's just more Spock. So think about it. Imagine if you're playing a holodeck video game and you're Spock. That'd be the most fun fucking game ever, right? Or you're playing Kirk, one or the other, or maybe you swap between the two. It would be the greatest Star Trek video game ever. And so it makes sense they had to simplify things. So as a universe, it doesn't work, but as a video game, it does. So I just picked... It's historical fiction in my mind. It's like somebody in the 24th century, you know, 24th century Infinity Ward. Oh, I am so dead. Oh, not... It's Call of Trek! It's like, you know, I prefer the Raven Software Star Trek adventure, which was basically like real life, only with, like, way more puzzles. So, like, imagine, Kirk and Spock trying to escape from the prison in the Nazi episode. It's like, they've got to basically find one little crack in the wall, then go through, like, a whole bunch of corridors, find a key, and then they can finally escape. That's the Raven Software version of that episode. Actually, the greatest Raven Software episode of Star Trek would be the one where Spock goes back to the caveman era, and it took forever for him to get out of there, so there's that. But Star Trek 2009, and by extension, the other Abrams films, well, actually the only other one that's worth watching, It's just complete and total historical fiction that is essentially just a holodeck video game. British World War III, so the Vulcans were a prelude invasion. Feeling optimistic. Yeah, First Contact was pretty good. Well, here's a good question. Is Star Trek 2009, the video game, any good? I do not know, but I'm not going to bother getting up, but I do have it for the 360. I actually was able to get it new for like $10. And I do intend to play it for a stream, and I do intend to review it at some point. But I need a physical co-op partner because the servers have long since been shut down. And as soon as I get somebody who I can play it with in the same physical location, I will definitely play that. For all I know, it could be good. It could be one of those games that everybody hated because of how bad Star Trek kind of got shafted by J.J. Abrams, but it might actually be a fun game. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So I have it. Maybe it's not bad. I do remember all the videos talking about it when it came out, and like it had like a lot of bad scaling issues, but maybe the game isn't awful. I mean, the story is going to be terrible. I mean, the idea that, you know, the Vulcans needed a Genesis device. I mean, come on. In the original series, they were finding planets every 5 feet. It's like, just give them a planet already. How hard would that be? Give them fucking Mars, or let them move to Mars. Something, come on. I get that they need, you know, a planet with the right gravity and all the rest, but like, beggars can't be choosers. Or why do they even need a planet since they should have colonies? It's not a big deal, but whatever. And then like the Gorner from another universe, really? But maybe from the gameplay perspective, it's not bad. Walk up to one of the aircrafts. Holy shit, that was a difficult level. Oh yeah, we got the story. With no time to lose, on the mission, Agent 6 gasps his last breath inside his rotten cell deep within the Toad's Faust headquarters POW facility, but his efforts will not go in vain. You collected the most valuable intel for the Allies. You made your way through the airfields of Toadfast HQ. The plane you stole just has enough gas, avgas, to get you on schedule with the Nazi frigate, just off the coast of Trondheim in Norway. You and your teammates are ready, parachuting off the plane and hopping onto the giant boat. A frigate is not giant, but whatever. Just in time to kick some Nazi butt. Find the Eisenritter laboratories and find out what the SS Paranormal calculated evil plans for. The greatest story ever. Hey, it's still better, ladies and gentlemen, than Wolfenstein Youngblood. Well, there's worse reasons to watch DS9 for than Worf. Exactly, they should have found something. What map is this? This is Wolfenstein X, not Brutal Wolfenstein. It uses Brutal Wolfenstein, but this is a whole map pack. You can find it on my DB. Arms race for the Klingons. Which, the arms race for the Klingons ended, I think, after like 2 movies. And the one where they went to the 1980s was The Voyage Home. Star Trek The Voyage Home. It always was rather funny. It's like, this is a very paranoid and, what did they say? It was a very paranoid and violent time. Be glad they didn't show up in 2020. Because it's even more paranoid and even more violent. Except now, if you're the criminal, you're the hero, and the victim is the villain. But whatever. Because just today, CNN was all like, oh yeah, well, these carjackers accidentally caused an accident that led to a murder. Yeah, sure it's like, my God. When you've gone so woke, you've basically become Pravda. I don't even think Pravda would have gone that far. I mean, maybe if like a high-level party official, you know, like just straight up shot somebody in plain view, they might make something that ridiculous up, but I think they'd actually try a little harder than that. You'd actually have to be a member of the party to get that kind of preferential treatment, instead of, oh yeah, here's a random criminal. They're not a criminal because, And it's bullfuckery. And yeah, Into Darkness really was pure fanfic, but I gotta tell you, when I went to see that in theaters, I really loved seeing old Spock show up, and I really, really enjoyed seeing Kirk and Spock team up. Not Kirk and Spock, Kirk and Khan team up. I mean, it was just a bit of fun. I actually would have preferred it had they subverted expectations in one way. I would have really, really loved it if Khan actually could have been talked around to not being a bastard. I think that would have been really cool. Is if Kirk, this would never have happened, I know, but is if Kirk could have actually given one of his Kirk speeches to Khan, and instead of, you know, normal Khan, you know, staying evil, is if he could have talked him around to not being evil. I would have loved that. See, you can subvert expectations in a good way. You just have to honor the characters that made the franchise what it was, which is something they certainly didn't want to do. I think giving Spock a beard in that abysmal STD, why did they give Spock a bro beard? At least they didn't give him a fucking man bun. You know, at least they didn't do that. Not that I would have cared had they done so, because I don't watch that shit outside of season 1. And believe me, that was the most painful season 1 there ever was. Let's see. Aliens Fire Team is a... Huh. So, Aliens Fire Team was done by the Star Trek Online guys. Now see, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Star Trek Online, say what you will about the story, which is interesting, Star Trek Online is at the very least a playable game. The ground combat is boring as hell, but it's still mostly fun. The biggest problem with Star Trek Online is the fact that it's an online multiplayer, that it's a MMO. And MMOs just, I never liked them, still don't. And see, here's the biggest issue with Star Trek Online. Since you have to basically grind through all the trash mobs, the idea of one Starfleet ship destroying, you know, multiple enemy vessels every day, just, it kind of takes me out of it in terms of immersion. It's like, wait a minute. We show up, we wipe out an entire enemy fleet. How many ships are there? It's like, my god, this is worse than Warhammer 40k. But still, it was fun while I was able to stomach it. I got up to level 40 and then never touched it again, and I still have no intention of touching it again. Because it's the same rinse and repeat gameplay. And believe me, that rinse and repeat gameplay is ridiculous. I did try to play that one content pack where they brought back Garrett Wang. Because I happen to be quite fond of that actor. I think he got the shat end of the stick. The future is grim indeed. Yeah, the USS Vengeance was supposed to have been made by Khan, which makes no sense. I mean, Khan was a, you know, military dictator. It's like asking Eddie, hey, can you build me like an atomic bomb? And he's gonna look at you like, math hard. And that's about it. I mean, I guess like if you got somebody historical like John Moses Browning, he might be able to make you some guns. But that's about it. I mean, you can't go back to 200 years and say, hey, build me something that's beyond top of the line. I guess the idea of Khan was that people in the future were so, like, complete pussies or something, and it required, you know, Khan to go, perhaps if we put a plasma gun on our spaceship, it will blow things up. But then it begs the question of, like, then why was the Enterprise armed? Doesn't really make sense, but whatever. Lieutenant Commander. Not bad. Let's see. Decent way of setting his room. It was a decent way to do it, but still the story just wasn't that great. It was so generic, and then making the Klingons bad guys again. Good God. And I'm glad you enjoyed the book reviews, Lucas Connor. I am going to continue doing some next month. Oh yeah, there's not going to be a game review this month due to, well, the passing of my stepfather, because I just don't really have the energy to do that. Because it just feels too normal, so that's not going to happen this month. Next month I'll get back to doing things like I'm going to do Wolfenstein 2009. The book review for next month is going to be one that has been requested for many, many years now. And that's going to be Caiaphas Cain, Hero of the Imperial... No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be Caiaphas Cain, Death or Glory. There we go. Because the old Caiaphas is one of the first reviews I ever did. There's actually some commenters complaining that I didn't know that it was basically a reference to Blackadder, which back in 2009, nobody knew who Blackadder was. I mean, that was just when the internet was really getting going. It's like, Blackadder? It was some British TV show. At least that's all I knew of it at the time. Now, of course, I've seen it, and it's a fairly hilarious thing. But back then I had no clue. And really, it's not... It's kind of tenuous to say that it kind of references it, but the characters are very different. But if you haven't seen Blackadder, I highly recommend doing so, even in trade paperback form. Especially since it shouldn't be, holy crap, I'm being blasted by, like, everyone. Especially since, it is unlikely to be censored. Really, when it comes down to a lot of, popular franchises, my recommendation really is trade paperback, simply because, you can find it uncensored, since so much of The Simpsons is being censored now. Boom! It's sad, but not surprising. Check that. I am planning on doing some fanfiction stuff this year. Specifically 2. No, 1. I was originally going to do 2, but I decided to cancel 1. I am going to review Event Horizon's Dawn. It has nothing to do with the film, and instead it's just a generic title. And what that is, it started out as forum posts and basically became a full-fledged fanfic of what if the Warhammer world, Westeros, what the hell the name of the planet of Game of Thrones is, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Lord of the Rings all inhabited the same solar system and were all habitable. It's remarkably good with great characters, although one character is really annoying, which the writer says he literally created to basically be a stand-in for Chris Pratt. That's before people hated Chris Pratt. Let's see, what else? The first book, and the only completed book in that little fanfic series, is Game of Thrones. It's set on the Game of Thrones world, and basically goes through most of the plot of the TV show, not the books. And it's just remarkably good. There's little references and things of that nature to popular fiction. Some of the characters are named after famous people, such as 2 techs named Adam and Jamie. It's just a little... I like the self-referential stuff. It works pretty well. I don't believe it was ever finished, though. I think he actually abandoned that for a Back to the Future... No, not Back to the Future. A series where Warhammer invades 1984. At first I thought it was like 1984, the novel, but it was actually just 1984, the time period. It's not bad, but it definitely became a bit more dark than I'd like. It basically has alternate Biff Tannen running people over while trying to escape Space Marines. It's not as fun as his Warhammer stuff. And the people on AlternateHistory.com do know their stuff. Like, they actually know what a 1911 and a #1 Mark III is, because some of the Westeros people get armed with that. And along with Martini Henrys. But I gotta tell you though, I'm not a big fan of AlternateHistory.com anymore, just because it has been infected by sajubbery. Like you wouldn't believe. These people are nuts. Let's see. Yeah, this shotgun isn't bad. It's more realistic. And this is supposed to be a Winchester 1897, which I've always wanted, but never enough to pay for. Let's see here. I'm not surprised at South Park. I'm surprised South Park has lasted as long as it has, without too much censorship. Let's see. Terminator Resident Evil / The Thing. That's a little much in one fanfic, though. And yeah, Unreal is not. I don't think it's quite as popular enough for people to get at this point. Hell, even I'm not really sure what the plot's about. God damn it! I blame you. Is it Turok Fire Seed again? I'm just gonna blame you anyway. A parody Bible? That would take a lot of work. Middle school fanfic. God. I'm not going to say exactly what I wrote back then, but it might have actually been... It wasn't that cringe. The one middle school fanfic I remember, right off the top of my head, is of course... So at that time, there was a TV show called X-Men Evolution. It has nothing to do with the original X-Men 94 cartoon series. It had its own continuity. And I was the perfect age for that. Although, even at that time, I thought it was kind of crap. And it was pretty crap, but it was adequate. But anyway, the important thing is this. I basically did a self-insert, because as I was off to do up until fairly recently. And in that self-insert, I, of course, became what was one of my favorite X-Men. Not Cyclops, but instead Colossus. And of course, in that fanfic, I got together with my favorite little emo babe, Rogue. But here's the funny part. Like, it's easy to look like, oh my god, Rogue was a teenager back then. But then again, if Rogue was a teenager back in the late 90s, she'd be like a MILF now. Oh my. But anyway, ex-MILFs aside, it was pretty cringe, but not as cringe as it could be. It certainly was no My Immortal. Assuming My Immortal is actually a real thing and not just a parody. Alright. Come on, you bastard. I'm trying not to cheat too much. Aw, come on! You bastard! Oh, he's gonna run over there and blast me in one shot. I got 4 health, and there's all that health over there. Chuck a grenade, maybe that'll do something. Oh! I was gonna say it's a meat fountain, but... Shit! That is really not what a door like that would sound like. Chuck, grenade. Oh, come on! Well, fuck it. Give health. Thank you. He still fucked me up pretty bad. That's one thing I love about these brutal mods, is they're so difficult. Oh, that guy got shredded. These are just so delightfully difficult. Alright, to the north. Huh, it didn't have a follow-up, huh? But there's only so much you can really do with Turok. Alright, I will check the chat real quick. I keep forgetting the name of that Doom fanfics writer. I gotta look that up because I might do a review on that. Yeah, the Doom novel trilogy by Mike McD. It is really good. I think it's too dark for my tastes. I can understand why people would like it. It's too cosmic horror story and not enough fun shooting. But then again, I like fun shooting versus super dark cosmic stuff. Cringy fanfic I ever read. I have to see about that. Universal owns that? Damn. Valiant. Yeah, Universal does sit on a lot of IPs. The cringiest fanfic. I think it would have to be, most unfortunately, the, that is a boat, alright. I think the most cringy would have to be, once again, from AlternateHistory.com. I'm really kind of disappointed in AlternateHistory.com just because they kind of should know better about some of this stuff, but they don't. Oh, let's see, what was it? Yeah, that's what it was. It was a American Civil War fanfic, because there's a lot of those. But this one was specifically, it had a bunch of people that I went ahead and looked them up, basically either turning into complete and total insane people or utter pure paragons. And like, if you knew anything about these people in real life, it's like, oh my god, they're really going that far? And it was basically the most implausible bunch of crap. However, there were talks in that particular fanfic about a disease hitting and like killing off half the population. But that's about the only thing that made a lot of sense. It's kind of funny. It's like, you could tell the writer really hated and I guess really believed that internet commentators could lead armies. I'm not joking. Benny Boy Shapiro led an army. Yes, Ben Shapiro led a neo-Confederate army. That's a thing. I don't know why this writer thought that Benny Boy could lead an army, and then it's like, it was one of those things that I read just because I kind of wanted to know how insane that would go. And then I looked up some of the other names of like these army leaders. Hoo boy. These like 60k sub people that weren't even remotely popular in the YouTube sphere, much less able to lead armies of people to do battle. It was so dumb. Basically, anything to the right of Mao, pure evil. Anything to the left of Mao, pure paragon. It was pretty damn cringe. About as cringe as the blood shoes that exist now. And for those who haven't heard of it, there's shoes that are made for satanic purposes. This is real. This is real. You can look it up. Nike is going to make Satan shoes. For all the 12-year-olds, I guess. Instead of the 12-year-olds rapping, I've got my Air Force Ones. I'm still not sure what an Air Force One implies. I guess it's a type of shoe, but whatever. Instead of rapping about their Air Force Ones, which they would never shut up about back in the day, I guess they're going to be rapping about their blood shoes. The blood shoe is basically supposed to be this satanic shoe that has like human blood in it. I mean, come on. I can barely say it with a fucking straight face, like, oh, my shoes have blood in them. I bought some shoes today, and you know what? They don't have blood, but they are comfortable on my feet. So, the blood shoe. It's cringe as fuck, lads and lasses. Like, the cringiest, like, is everybody just, like, regressed to the mindset of a 12-year-old at this point in media? It certainly seems that way to me. It's like, I'm gonna like have blood on my shoes and like my parents will totally like just freak, man. Let's see. Leading an army. Velsh. I have no idea who a Velsh is. No, yeah, it's super edgy. Vegan shoes, really? But yeah, blood shoes. This is real. Look it up. But yeah, like, YouTube political commentators are not going to form an army and attack people. I mean, can you imagine them actually campaigning? You know, like living in a foxhole for like weeks, eating, you know, like rotted meat filled with maggots. Can you imagine? Pampered Benny Boy, you know, he gets his food from Blue Collar or whatever it's called. Eating, you know, like maggoty meat and being happy he has it. That's the one thing when people talk about ASW2. It's like, okay, so are you ready to almost freeze to death in a foxhole in winter and roast in the summer? Are you ready for that? Are you ready to eat maggoty meat because that's the best food you've got and you're happy to have it? Oh yeah, and if you're a vegan, yeah, good luck, dude. Because you're not going to be getting any of that. You're going to be getting what you can get when you can get it. Are you ready to drink water that might be filtered urine? Yeah, good luck on that one. But, you know, people like to think it's a video game. I always like to point out, you know, this is a video game. When I die, I can reload save. In real life, if I were to die, there's no save. And when Garen go peeing. Oh, you bastard. Who has a rocket pistol? That doesn't even make any sense. Actually, let me grab the old MG42. See, his splash damage is really what gets you. It's like Kirk, but cringe. Little Nas X, huh? Insane? Yeah, it is an asylum indeed. Alex Jones would make for a particularly hilarious video game character. My thing about Alex Jones is, I've listened to him. He basically, his new stuff, his new stuff, when it used to be on, was the yellowest of the yellow journalism. If some of it was true, it's no worse than, say, Vice or anything like that. It's like, oh no, Satan's coming to kill us, and they've got FEMA camps. It's like, I don't doubt that there's camps. I mean, well, we've seen what they do with people who cross the border. Just saying, they put them in camps. This guy's gonna really keep fucking me, isn't he? Well, give health. But whatever, we can't talk about that because, my racism, I guess. But yeah, Alex Jones is no worse than anyone else, but they censored him because... And because finally got that guy. Let's just put it this way. People be cray and just ignore all insane people if you can. Or better yet, live nowhere near Seattle or Portland, Oregon. Cause, hoo boy. Although it's still getting pretty bad here. There's been more Asian people attacked because, well, you know. What a bunch of scheisse. I think the reason why people are going nuts is because there's no new Star Trek. I mean, I know that'd make me go nuts too. I mean, when the best you got is Spock and a dude Spock and a dude stash, you know, with his man bun. I mean, that'd make me go insane too. Let's see. Downside of playing the co-op mod is fun. Michigan. But yeah, I'm a big fan of co-op. It's just most of my co-op partners have moved on and do other things these days, which is oh so depressing. But yeah, one thing I will say this: I do intend to make my monthly vlog where I'll talk about some philosophical concepts, moving on from Benny Boy Shapiro to the concepts of life and death. You know. How we deal with death is at least as important as how we deal with life, right? I wonder who wrote that line. Because Shat delivered it pretty well. And it actually is a pretty good line, you know? Because if there's one thing that binds every human being on the face of the planet, it is our own mortality. And if there's one thing I've learned in my time, it's that you don't have as much time as you might think. And so you need to make the most of your life. Don't live every day like it's your last, but live every day. Try to at least get something accomplished every day if you can. Even if it's just accomplishing something in a video game, you know? Because sadly, like with my stepdad, like, he certainly had no idea that this month would be his last. And as painful as that is, I'm glad that I did not waste any time. And that we, you know, made the most of what time we had together. But goddamn does it suck. I want to talk about death for a moment. When somebody has like a death, don't be like, I understand how you feel. Because no one wants to hear that. If you don't know what to say to somebody in a situation like that, just literally say, I don't really know what I could say that would make things better, but I'll be there for you. That's what I like to say. You know? I'm like, it's like with my, poor mother dealing with all this crap. It's like, for me, it's like, you know, I can't say anything that's gonna make you feel any better, but I'm there for you. And sometimes you gotta express that non-verbally. You know, But don't be like, or don't list off how much better or how much worse it could be. Because when somebody of that magnitude dies, you know, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares. They just need somebody that's like, yes, I'm as miserable as you are. And yes, I am as miserable as she is. But thankfully, I've got YouTube here to distract me. Especially Turok, getting me killed all the time. Living paycheck to paycheck. I was able to accomplish that not too long ago. Took me 32 years. Took me many a year, but I was able to finally do it, and it's a very good goal to have. It's not easy, but you feel a lot better when you finally have done it. All I gotta say is just keep saving your money, and eventually you will get there. God damn it. And yeah, living on Social Security, not easy. Let's see. And yes, iron sights in 2.5D. Because, well, it's a mod. And they can work techno magic. I did forget to do that. Where is that? Let me alt-tab real quick. Actually going to post a link to the new server that I've created for the YouTube channel here. But it's not going to stay up forever, though. Actually, hold on, let's edit that real quick. Where after 1 hour. All right. And there is the new Discord server link. I used to leave it up all the time, but then I got spam attacked and had to nuke the server. Now I'm only going to leave that up for an hour, so hopefully we won't have too much difficulty. Let's see. Alex Jones clips, I would imagine. But yeah, actually getting to not working paycheck to paycheck was not an easy prospect. Because you never, well, unless you get really successful, there's never enough to really do that. But I know how to save quite well. God damn it. Fucking German Shepherd. Or a bastard with an STG. Let's see, we go in an hour. Okay, I'm cheating myself some health. This is where it's getting tough. Or I might just be... oh crap! Or that happens! I can't keep blaming Turok. I blame the devs. I need a win the game button. You know? Because some people are just not good gamers and they need help. And I think it is good gamer privilege to expect a challenge. You think I'm joking. People have said that. Yes. Welcome to 2021. It truly is a grim nightmare future. Ah, crap! Speaking of insane leftism, they are trying to, well, they already tried but failed, to cancel Patterns of Force, the Star Trek Natsok episode. It's always kind of funny to look at what they actually said. It is the most insane shit you've ever seen. It's like, this episode needs to be removed forever and all copies destroyed so it can never be seen by anyone again. It's like, what? Holy shit! Which is okay, that is a hilarious animation. It's like, holy shit. It's like, not only do they not want people to see it, they want to destroy it so no one can ever see it. They literally want to unperson an episode. Could it be that, they see too much of themselves in it, I wonder? But it couldn't be that. Oh, no. Also, why on a ship would you have a giant thing of water? Oh, crap. I still think that looks yellow. That looks yellow to me, when I'm not paying attention at least. Let's see. And I think there actually was a fantasy game created using the Descent engine of all things. I think it's like Descent into the Underdark or something like that. And speaking of D&D, because it was a D&D game if I'm not mistaken. I think LGR, oh crap, did a video on it. I started reading a D&D novel called Verdant Passage. It's set in the D&D equivalent to Mad Max. It's basically all the water's dried up, except for like little pools here and there. And there's a bunch of tyrannical wizards that are like turning into dragons. It's really good. It's a really good characterization. It's written by a writer who would go on to write Star Wars books. And it's remarkably good. I had heard of the setting before, but I didn't know those books existed until a few days ago. And so I started blasting through the first one. Pretty good writing. I have no idea how easy it is to find those books in the wild, but they were found pretty easily. Hogan's Heroes, not surprised. Well, see, the thing is, I guess they want them to all, like, be gathered up and destroyed, because good luck with that. It's the same people who want to, you know, ban the AR. They don't realize the sheer logistical impossibility of that. From what it's looked, I actually did a little bit of research. Oh, crap. Fucking German Shepherd bastard. You know, I like dogs these days, but maybe not for long. Also, we've got the Imperial German flag here for some reason, but okay. I'm not going to complain about it. Also, for a frigate, these are some pretty big corridors. I think it's not 100% true. Just like I don't think it's 100% true that the Natsoks had trained attack dogs. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blazing Saddles would be canceled at some point. Because, well, they gotta cancel anything that could even be remotely offensive. Shit. Gotcha, you bastard. I almost quick-loaded. I need to play Herat. I discovered that not too long ago, but just haven't had a chance to get into it. Or Herit, or however the hell you pronounce that. Let's see. Yeah, Necromunda. I'm looking forward to that. I'm surprised that I made a reference to Necromunda just before seeing that. I have not read the Necromunda novels, but it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I mean, a Warhammer 40k first-person shooter should be a no-brainer, and yet they've never really been done. And I have no idea why. I mean, you have Fire Warrior, which I still think was a really dumb idea. I don't know what brainstorm came up with that thing. It's like, okay, wait a minute. The Tau, a faction of Xenos that no one really cares about. You know, that's what we want as our flagship first-person shooter character. Why not Spec Marines? People would have loved it. Or Imperial Guard. I mean, but the Tau? Really? At least it wasn't Eldar. Actually, Eldar might have been better, but it's like, fucking Tau? Come on. I get that it was a gateway game for a lot of people, including me. But seriously, it just seemed like that was a pretty weak idea. I think when it came to, if they'd had Space Marines, more people would have liked it, and it would have been a game that more people than, say, you know, people who are really forgiving about certain things would actually play it. Nostalgia Chick got canceled? How? I thought she was like Queen Sejub. I guess they do eat their own. Oh my. Do they eat out there? Never mind. I will admit, at one time I found Nostalgia Chick somewhat attractive. What's really funny about that, though, is at one time, back when Nostalgia Chick was even remotely relevant, there was actually an adult film actress who looked almost like, exactly like her, although a bit more attractive. It was actually rather amusing, really. Although I imagine both Nostalgia Chick and that person is very old by this point, because that was at least 15 years ago that I saw that. Resident Evil 8. I don't know if I'll play it or not. I mean, the giant vampire chick is arousing, but I don't know. I'll just have to see if I even have remotely enough time for it. I'm leaving. Crap. Let's see. Imperial Guard first-person shooter. And yeah, I guess they did because they wanted to push the Tau. Because I looked it up. The Tau did come out around the same time as the game. Or the game came out around the same time as the Tau, whatever. But still, though, that's an interesting marketing strategy. The MG42. Is there any better machine gun? The answer is no. No, there is not. And anyone who says there is a heretic. Why you'd put your radar dishes inside the ship, I'm not really sure, but, well, I mean, they did lose the war for a reason. And reading and writing comprehension was way down towards the end of the war. Mainly filled with propaganda. Not unlike today. Wait, no, we can't say that. Let's see, I'll check the chat again. Zombie Army 4. Zombie Army isn't bad, but I never really got into it. I mean, I own it, and I've played it, but I don't think I ever beat a level in that. It's ridiculously difficult. Oh, I didn't know that. Ooh. Oh. Oh my. I was unaware of that. Oh crap! Please don't tell me I'm stuck down here. Let's see. Yeah, I was unaware of that. Okay, I have found no key of any sort. I have low key, found no key. Oh wait, no, that just sounds painful. Wait, what is that? The dude who played? Blech. See, doing this definitely puts my mind at ease. To any of you who have had a loved one pass on, I at least, unfortunately, know how you feel. It is a terrible feeling. So how do I go from talking about the jobs to that? Yeah, it's life. Okay, is there like something here that I'm missing? Okay, I can't go down to the water. I'm sure I just walked past the key like a complete gormless idiot. Oh, that mustn't be that gormless. Aha, there we go. It's a gray door and a gray corridor. I don't feel so bad now. Didn't do it Imperial Guard first. Oh yeah, Krieg would make him go nuts. People. You know, since I only played Half-Life like once, I don't recognize the Half-Life textures, but I do recognize the Duke and Return to Castle Wolfenstein textures. I really quite like seeing the Duke in Return to Castle Wolfenstein once. This is a really damn good mod. Like, this is one of my, like, major alpha primes. I mean, I might have, like, a super awesome gaming rig now. And I did change my system specs on the About page, finally. But I may have a super awesome gaming rig, but of course, I'm still just playing Doom. Why? Because, or Wolfenstein in this case. Oh, kick him, kick him! Because Doom. It's just that good. I would really like a third-person shooter, but I can never find one. It's like every one I try to play, I just can't really get into. I did just finish a third-person shooter for the PS2 not too long ago called Kill.Switch. It's basically Universal Soldier meets RoboCop. It's pretty good. It does cover-based shooting in a way that makes it really difficult, but I want something more modern with, you know, like high-res textures and things of that nature, not just a scaled-up PS2 game. Okay, this dumped me out here. Now where the hell am I? Yeah, seriously, where did I go? Where did I go just now? Okay, let's just go back to where we came. Fanfiction. A series of books. Wolfenstein, a Doom connected universe. That would be pretty nice. I'd like to read that myself. Gatekeepers. Figures. Oh yeah, because the copyright will expire for GoldenEye. I bet they do a Mickey Mouse and ensure that that can't actually be done. What I would like to get a hold of, and I will be honest, I've been too lazy to look for it, is the leaked GoldenEye remake. I just have been too lazy to find that or an emulator to play it. But I would like to finally try that because, yeah. I have not yet found a trade paperback version of that. I'm sure there's got to be one somewhere, but not easy. Duke Nukem will never be popular again. Duke Nukem will never be popular again because of the internet. Twitter and Facebook and all the rest will destroy any attempt to get Duke Nukem popular. It'll be called racist, it'll be called sexist, and it will be canceled before it can be released. Or they will completely strip Duke Nukem of his Duke Nukemness. Just look at the insanity around 6 Days in Fallujah. So many of those people complaining about it would never play that game just because, if I'm not mistaken, that's a tactical first-person shooter, which I don't even really want to play it just because it's not my kind of game. But they're saying it will cause people to kill people. I'm not even joking. So I guarantee you, Duke Nukem, if it was ever to be remastered or re-released, the Twitter would basically be saying that it would lead to, you know, an increase in rape culture or something like that. Switch is because of a creepypasta? Wow. Kill.Switch isn't bad, it doesn't have a story, but the gameplay is pretty damn good. Save, save. Don't change that, save. Oh, he's dead. He's dead, Jim. I didn't think there was a 360 emulator. Security core disengaged. In the West Wing, oh my god. Well, it's true, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see Duke Nukem being allowed to exist. What with all the insanity that it would gin up. Maybe it could, but I don't know. Let's see, what about Reddit? Over Reddit, just look for the link and you'll find it easily. Alright, I'll just type in GoldenEye Reddit and I'm sure I'll find something, but I just couldn't be arsed to look at it, because before this whole unpleasantness going on now, I was just kind of tired to begin with from all the work, and now this. Bleh. It fucking sucks. It truly does. Let's see here. Plays the postal dude. Well, you gotta remember, John St. John is an actor, so his overall mindset or viewpoint might not actually be the same as his characters. To be honest, you gotta expect most of these actors and actresses to be sajubby, although some aren't. I mean, that Adam Driver guy is actually fairly based, if I'm not mistaken. So, not everyone's completely insane. Okay, that door is not one that will work, so we gotta find that goddamn door. It's a maze hunt, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, Black. I've never finished that game. Mainly because you can't skip the first cutscene. If you die once, you gotta watch it all over again. Which kind of killed it for me. I do own it, and I'm glad I have it, but I don't foresee myself playing that again anytime soon. Okay, this is the entrance here. Oh, this is gonna be one of those mazy things. Spoonie gets mazed. Oh my. Oh yeah, John St. John reading 50 Shades of Grey. Let's see, how long have I been going? Hour 20. I'm gonna try to finish this level, but I'm already starting to get a little fatigued. A little tired, you know. But we'll keep it going a little bit. Okay, now what the hell? Okay, there's the radar, internal radar room. Okay. Oh yeah, I think it might be over here. Save. I hate to lose all that. Really? Okay. Oh, there it is. So, when MG42 talks, everything listens. And dies. Oh, crap, 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 no! Goddamn Nazi waifu. No, I don't want to go vegan. I like meat. Big meat. Thick meat. Juicy meat. Wait, no. That's just wrong. Let's see. I'm gonna be honest though, I don't know how people fall for Sajubri though. It's all a bunch of, well, not to find a point on it, none of it actually is in any way, to me at least, persuasive. It's just, I'm going to say a bunch of generic shit and expect to be taken seriously. And that really is all it is. It's generic shit that could easily be disproved even if you were lazy. Because it's just like, and these people, bad. Okay, why am I just going to take your word for it? Or someone else's word for it? I can say I can fly, it doesn't make it true. I guess that's the thing. Like, I guess if you had no critical thinking skills, it might make some degree of sense, but I've always had plenty, so. Oh, you bastard! It's just one of those little things. And that was a blood fountain. It was a massive ejaculation of blood and viscera. There's one thing that is too funny about classic writing. Ejaculate used to mean you would express something strongly. And on some of the Sherlock Holmes books, Holmes or Watson would ejaculate about something. It's quite amusing how things change over time. Blow it all up. Maybe Mad Stan was right. The internet was a mistake. The thing is, they never were geeks or nerds to begin with. They were just a bunch of, the SJW concept is nothing new. They've always existed. They're the annoying busybodies that existed in every high school, like, sitcom or drama that were all about, you know, like saving the whales and banning cars and stuff like that. It just so happened that corporations saw dollar signs and so they became normalized. Although where they got the dollar signs from, I'm still not entirely sure. Alright, we got chain gun now. But I personally have never actually seen a Sajub in the wild. Now this is Texas, but I've never seen one in real life. In fact, when it comes even to anti-gunners, I've only seen one once. And that was about almost 20 years ago, so they do exist, and they are very loud, but they're not really a good proportion of the population. Let's see. I've heard of Rocco's Modern Life, but I know nothing about it because that is definitely not a show that I'd ever watch. Okay, this is a long-ass level. Just look at the size of that map. Now imagine if this had modern-day graphics. That's the one thing. I love playing these classic games, but I would not mind having like modern-day graphics that would really give my graphics card a good workout. Really, BJ? Did you have to? Oh, don't worry, he wad. He had 4 health. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Blaskovich. Or Blaskowitz. I'm gonna call him Blaskowitz from now on. Just to be a bastard about it. And then again, I will admit, here's the funny part about me. It might seem like me talking bad about the SJWs. They would call me probably far right, which is so funny it's not even funny. It's a double negative. But the more I learn about people, now that I'm no longer like, you know, completely antisocial like I used to be, it's like the classical definition of the lowercase L liberal is something closer to what I am in many respects. The whole idea of accepting people for who they are and not being horribly judgmental, you know, that's something that I don't really have a problem with, you know? I'm not going to judge someone based upon, you know, physical characteristics. It's just, are you a good person or are you a bastard? If you're a bastard, go fuck yourself. If you're not one, well, that is a big ship. Or am I on the ship anymore? I don't know, because if I am, this is a giant frigate. But that's the thing. My biggest problem with Sajubs, especially when you look at them in their natural habitats, is they're some of the most judgmental people you've ever seen. It's like, if you don't believe exactly the way they do, yeah, I'm cheating in health, they just call you all these horrible things. It's really quite insane, really. Whereas for me, you know, I try to be understanding of differences, but I guess that's the thing. It's like, you're not supposed to just be understanding, you're supposed to not only accept it, but then change to be like it, which is insane in and of itself. I always had the old Star Trek viewpoint of, you know, people are going to be people, and, well, they are going to be different, and that's fine, so long as they don't try to change who you are. Also the old Thomas Jefferson concept of your freedom ends where my freedom begins, which I'm sure they would call the Raycast. In fact, I know they would, because once again, they don't even try to hide it anymore, because they there was a political cartoon showing a counterculture hippie from the 60s becoming the, you know, listen to the man, modern day person. And it's like, and the only response that the other side had was, well, you know, but the other side is filled with, and I'm not even exaggerating, insane gun owners. Yes. So they're justifying it by saying the other side bad, so. And I guess when you just see the other side as this horrible, villainous organization, you can justify doing anything, really. I wonder if these guys that we're fighting here have a little bit more to do with the modern day culture than they might otherwise. Oh, sure, they would say a different group is bad no matter what, but yeah. 3 other organizations, pretty bad. I'm still trying to get that Discord fixed. I just got the voice chatting working, so I'll have to look at it after the stream. Let's see. Yeah, let the Cardis handle it. Condemned. Ugh. I need to actually stream that too. I didn't play Condemned until like a few years ago, and it was remarkably good for what it was. They put a lot of effort into that. I think one of the biggest problems with AAA is it really does stifle any sort of creativity. Because, like, can you imagine a game like Condemned being made today? When you think of all the classic games from the early 2000s that had very limited marketing budgets, I mean, gaming needs to be smaller than it is. I'm just gonna straight up say it. You know, when every game needs to be like a 20 million seller, you can't really rock the boat too much, and the game has to be able to sell itself with a trailer. It has to sell millions, so of course it's going to be the most Michael Bay shit you're gonna get. And like, Condemned is not something that little Timmy's mother is gonna want to buy him at the local Walmart. And so I think that's once again why they made Doom as family friendly as they did, you know. It's not Satan, it's the Dark Lord. He's not a scary tentacle monster. He's just a never mind. Don't want to spoil it, but yeah. It's like a game set in a prison where you play a prisoner who committed a crime? No, we can't have that. That would give little Timmy ideas, I guess. What a bunch of shite, lads and lasses. Condemned is a game that I do recommend, though. Damn good combat, and is morally ambiguous. Let's see. Some games, the naval on ships it. Yes, it does. Oh my. It's just like a lot of games can't it's either indie or AAA in many respects these days. You can't have something in between where it's got a little bit more money behind it, but not where it has to recoup millions upon millions of dollars put into it. I think it's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the modern day Doom anymore, because once I finally played Wolfenstein 2009 and all the little things it did, it's like it showed just how that's the best way I can that's the best way I can describe Doom Eternal and the modern day Dooms, and also the modern day Wolfensteins to a degree. Except for New Order. New Order was remarkably good in that it wasn't completely and totally shallow. But really, most modern games are just shallow. I mean, they're better than they were for a while. Okay, I've got to just give myself some health here. But they lack... You can almost tell that they were designed so that they would make millions of dollars. And, you know, that's fine. That makes sense. But do you really want to play it after just playing it once? Doom Eternal, you know, it's great and all, but I played it a grand total of 1 time. No, that's not true. I played it twice, but I have no real desire to play it again. The music is, in my mind, better than the game. The music is really good, but... Oh god, let's see. I think I'll keep playing it a little bit, playing the game a little more, but this is a long goddamn level, and I don't think I'm able to finish it in this stream. Holy crap! It's like I'm fighting the entire bloody Fourth Reich here. Let's see. Massive ocean, death in a puddle. Yeah, there you go. It's already 10 o'clock. Holy crap! Where did the time go? God damn it. Oh, alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is a long goddamn level, so I'm gonna call it a day for today. It's been another damn good stream, and I appreciate everybody showing up. Due to the current emotional turmoil I'm going through, being able to talk to all of y'all, the fans, really does help, even if 2 seconds later I'm going to be miserable again, but I really do appreciate everyone with all their comments and things. It's a lot of fun, and I'll see y'all later.